Yes, a real job can be gruesome. A real job can make you very tired, but a real job doesn't suck the soul out of you. You know what I mean? In the same way that 9 hours of streaming absolutely will. So,
He gonna get cooked for that one.
yes, a real job can be gruesome. A real
I just y'all be putting caveats on. That's all. Y'all just be putting. It doesn't suck the soul out of you. In the same way that streaming does for 9 hours, specifically about political content. When I'm dealing with all these traumas, shut up, bro. Shut up.
Yeah.
I don't hear the context. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, I'm not gonna tell him I'm not gonna tell him what's gonna stress him out or anything like that. But even the way he worded it is because he's like snaking through there, like social. What was he say? Social drainage. What the fuck he say? Suck the soul out of you. Whatever the fuck. Pause needed.
Live streaming for 9 hours sucks the soul out of you.
Yeah, just because we have to move on.
Like, come on, bro.
Just because we have to move on. What I'll say is I see what he's trying to say and even potentially where he's coming from, but obviously he could have worded that a lot better.
I'll just say I see exactly where he's coming from, and I would even agree to an extent. I just think he was real weird about it. I would, to an extent, I agree with him. Streaming definitely does suck the soul out of you in its own way. Not just now. I will disagree, and that's not even what the conversation was. And I will say, I don't want to be long-winded. It definitely sucks the soul out of you in a different way. A regular job still will suck the soul out of you. Like your soul getting sucked, gang. Like, I don't know to tell you. It's just his own unique way, especially if you're streaming 9 hours of politically debating and doing all this extra shit and the shit that you do. Yeah, nigga, 9 hours of streaming anything, honestly, is gonna suck the soul out of you. So, to an extent, I agree, but I definitely see the flaws in what he's saying.
All right, if Omar doesn't want to play, I'm gonna just give chat that. Okay.
Where is it? I don't know where it is.
All right, it's on his page. But like essentially the counter arguments that y'all would have for him, because I was getting cooked for it in my clip. It was like, this is out of context, bro. You're clip baiting. Like the context that he provides kind of addresses whatchamacallit, all of the counter arguments.
It's on his YouTube page.
It's on his Twitter.
Yes,
all right, boom. All right, yeah, I just sent it.
I'm assuming this is. Oh, it's just this one tweet.
Yeah.
All right. So he said, "It's wild how completely out of context this clip made its way to Twitter so fast. I was talking about how much a 9-hour stream eats away at my social battery and how I can't socialize after. Comparing it to my sales job before, I recognize how fortunate I am every day." I know. I mean, I figure people caveat some shit to hell.
Yeah. So when we're talking like that, here's what I'll say. I don't know. I'm not familiar with his content. And I even said that on my initial tweet about it. I'm not familiar with his content, not familiar with his background. Maybe he, for many people, is just unqualified to say that. You feel me? But I'm always a believer that I'm not going to tell somebody how they feel about stress or like what stresses them out or like what drains a social battery per se. But it's kind of like, as a person that's graduated college, failed certain semesters, I know how stressful that shit can be. This person that's worked multiple 9-to-5s, oh my god, I can tell you how stressful these things could be. And I'm not even working like hard labor. I'll give Hassan this. I can't stand some of the people that are making clips of like these over the top factory workers and shit like that. And I'm like, 90% of you niggas on Twitter don't work. Like 90% of you niggas don't have this job of fucking melting lava and creating iron. I don't know why y'all have these clips ready to go. That's not you, my boy. You work at Friday. Stop. But I will say he has the right to straight up say that his social battery in terms of talking to other people can be draining, because it's just true. Like I'll say that. Hell, I know teachers that say the same thing. So if depending on how long he streams, I could see the vision. Like Damo said, I could see to a certain extent where I'll agree with him, because streaming for me personally probably is up there with peak college years in terms of stress. But I would never say it in a way, I guess, where it comes off as like he's saying this shit is just harder. I never would do that, because I would say the jobs that I had weren't, except my T-Mobile job. That job got unchy, but except that job, I wouldn't say that yeah, streaming just solos is way difficult. I think what people go wrong, and I'll stop talking here. Where people go wrong is people act like there's no negatives, there's no stress involved with streaming. I think that's a dishonest conversation. But to just kind of say it as if it's just clears 9 to 5s, nah, I'm not gonna be for that. I'm not gonna be for that.
I'll keep it short and sweet. Hassan, you're a pussy. Not gonna lie. You're comparing streaming 9 hours to the job you used to work, and I mean, listen, I'm basing this purely off assumptions. I don't know you at all. I would assume you were pretty. You probably were younger. How old is Hassan? I think he's older 20s, right? Mid older 20s.
Yeah, mid
right?
to older 20s.
I would assume when you were working that job, you were younger.
Someone said 34. Someone said
34.
I would assume when you were working that job, you were younger, gang. Even if you were still working that exact same sales job, after 9 hours of working when you were 21 versus 9 hours of working when you're 34, I'm pretty sure you will be socially drained. You would just want to go home, kick your feet up, watch your favorite show, get under a snuggie, nigga. I don't know. But you react differently because you're older, my nigga. I don't think that, I mean, I'm not going to say it has nothing to do with streaming. If you feel like 9 hours of streaming is killing your social battery, so now you can't go outside, put your phone down, and socialize with real people because you've been staring at a screen trying to entertain virtual people all day, I'm going to call you a pussy, but hey, that's just my opinion.
Yeah, I think this is a take that he could have got off and had no complaints about if he didn't compare it to a 9 to 5. If he literally just kept it as, yo, y'all don't understand how draining it is to stream 9 hours a day and how that drains you after 9 hours, and just left it at that, there would have been no fucking problem. Because I think that is actually something that needs to be talked about, like how the hardships of content creation. Not to make it seem like this shit is the hardest thing in the world, but people do feel like content creation is just all sweet when it's not. So I felt like it was a wasted opportunity there. With the caveats of the full context of the clip, I don't think is as bad as just a 20-second clip makes it out to be. But I think the difference is at the end of the day, like, yes, it is draining for you to stream 9 hours a day, but especially at the level Hassan specifically is at, he has way more control over his content and how many hours he needs to stream over the regular streamer.
Thank you.
Hassan can make this work streaming 3-4 hours a day.
Thank you.
You know, like Hassan can make this work streaming 3 times a week, 4 times a week instead of 5, 6, 7. Like, no one is forcing you to do this shit for the long amount of hours that you're doing it. So
yeah, my video is literally gonna come out tomorrow, so I don't want to spoil it too much. But working class people don't like hearing rich people complain.
Yep, that's a fact.
When they compare it to the thing that like they're doing work wise, nobody wants to hear that shit. Second of all, you are so rich where you can control things. You could not stream for a month and you'd be fine.
yeah.
And not just because financially you'd be fine, but you can also pop back up and your audience would be fine. You don't have to stream for that long. The idea that, you know, you are a content creator and supposed to be entrepreneur, business owner, but you've put yourself in a situation where you're working just as much as your 9 to 5, if not more. Because if you're doing 9-hour days, comparing that to a potential 8-hour day on a 9 to 5, like what's the point? So I just, as somebody who recently just got a job, this is still silly. The caveats, if that shit, like Sage said, if that's your personal experience, that's perfectly fine. Like Biso said, though, there's definitely a better way to voice this opinion. So.
Yeah, for sure. Like, even when I initially tweeted something along the lines of, yeah, streaming for me personally is up there in stress, literally my following reply was, well, actually, that college shit was one of one as a failing college student. So I'm telling you, man, it's literally, I think Soul said it way better than I could have ever said it. It's just that he tried to make the comparison, especially knowing how ain't no person who ain't got it want to hear the motherfucker who has it. You know what I'm saying? Like a man dying of thirst don't want to hear from the nigga who drowning, bro. So like what the fuck?
I got too much water.
Yeah, like nobody wants to hear that shit. So whether it's right or wrong, nobody wants to hear that shit. So I think all he had to do was say, yo, I don't think y'all understand it. And he didn't even have to cuck and say it's not a 9 to 5. He said, yo, I don't think you understand, bro. This shit's cooking me. And it wouldn't have been a fucking problem, but it's because he like kind of took a dig that it's like, And then on top of that, he kind of like not necessarily 10 toes with it, because another thing, let's call it what it is. We pull this card all the time. If he had said, "Hey, shit, I'm dying by it. This is harder than any 9 to 5 I've ever worked," then at that point we could talk about what 9 to 5s he's worked. But if he died on the hill, he died on the hill.
It's kind of like niggas saying this is harder than slavery. Whatever X is harder than slavery.
Yeah, type
All right,
shit.
you can say something is hard, bro. You don't have to compare it to slavery. It's like, all right, this is.
But Black Man in the chat said, do y'all know if he's getting paid more streaming more hours? Now, with ads and how that works on Twitch, he probably does get paid more with him streaming longer hours. But again, there's workarounds it to the point where like he could be sponsored out the ass to compensate the difference. Like that's something he could do.
Yeah, he's at the point in his career it's not necessary.
Yeah, he can, and even that, like even if he didn't get sponsored, again with at that level. He's straight, bro. I'm telling you.
I don't know how much he averages a month or a stream, but I can look at his YouTube channel. Dog, stop it. This nigga has 6-figure months routinely. Like,
he got 16K right now on Twitch. But
60K followers?
16K concurrent right now.
Yeah.
All right,
2.5 million followers. And he's always like top 10 in subs, like without even like doing subathons or peaking that crazy shit, like just regularly top 10.
He does not have to stream 9 hours, bro. He really does.
Is low.
And let me be clear, when I say 6-figure month, I just mean on Twitch. I'm not talking about his YouTube. So
Yeah.
what are we talking about, dog? I'm not worried about this. Stop. Just stop, bro.
Yeah. I will always say, well, even on this podcast, when we talk about Cam Newton and them crab ass niggas essentially hating, I say what's always gonna be worse than that to me personally, more than an angry nigga, more than a nigga that's always trying to bring motherfucker down. It's a motherfucker who is up and it's like snobby. I'm not gonna lie, for me personally, hate that the most, bro. As a person that's around people that don't have it fortunate all the time, I would detest myself even if I were to ever become as successful as people in my family wanted me to be. And then I start viewing them differently. Like I pray to the highest God that never happens, because that shit is like the corniest shit. I've seen people turn into that. I've seen people that are essentially like that time in and time out. That shit's beyond corny, bro. I hate that shit even more than a hateful ass nigga, to be honest.